G'day world, my name is Keith and I host two channels here on YouTube. This channel right here is Keith's Universe. It is my side channel. It is a leftist channel where I discuss human rights and animal rights. Whereas you can also check me out on my other channel, Nerdy Keith, which is my nerd culture channel, which I also discuss daily vlogging, tech reviews, movie reviews, and anything in between. So first of all, I am sorry for being so late to the party regarding discussing this topic. This is, however, a re-recording. The original recording, I had a lot of audio sync trouble. So this is a re-recording. I've tested my camera out and gone through all of the technical issues that I need to go through in order to make sure that this recording is as good as it can be. I am just so fed up with people trying to justify racism, racial hate, crimes and discrimination based on race. Not only that, but this insufferable level of blaming the victim. As it happens, I am so lucky to experience next to no discrimination in my life. Yes, I did deal with some homophobia way back when, but for the most part, right here now in the present, I never get attacked for who I am. I am so very grateful for that. So let me just say this now so that this is perfectly clear where I stand on this issue. Just stop Asian hate. Okay, just stop blaming all Asians on the coronavirus. The novel coronavirus was the result of a contamination of an animal food product sold in a particular region of Wuhan. To blame all Asians on this is preposterous. It's irrational, it's illogical, and it's just plain racist. If you were so concerned with preventing another catastrophe like COVID-19 from occurring again, maybe you should stop and think for a second and ask yourself what all of these health crises all have in common. Mad cow disease, swine flu, bird flu. Every single one of these, what they all have in common is that each and every single one of them have all been caused by contamination of animal food products, or at the very least a contamination of animal agriculture. It's almost as if nature is fighting back, the environment is fighting back. All I'm saying here is that maybe a lot more of you should consider going more plant-based, or at least reducing your consumption of animal products by a lot. It seems to me that going plant-based would be a very effective means to prevent catastrophes like this from occurring again in the future. It's just something to think about. But this racism towards Asians, no, that's not acceptable at all. Asians are human beings just like you, just like any of your family, your friends, or any other loved one. We should have respect for our fellow human beings. And referring to the coronavirus as, and I really hate that I have to even reference this for clarification purposes, but referring to the coronavirus as Kung flu or the Chinese flu, I don't find it funny. I don't think it's funny at all. It's incredibly racist and incredibly insensitive. And you know, it wasn't funny when former President Trump said it, and it's still not funny today. It honestly is just pure racist. And it's not something at all that any humanist should ever support. There have been many Asians who have stated that they've received a lot of racism, even more so since the COVID pandemic. People randomly shouting coronavirus at them as they're walking down the street. And many of these people are not even Chinese, which is, it's just an extra emphasis on just how racist society can actually be. So if you think back on these other catastrophes that have been caused by the contamination of animal food products, swine flu for example, ask yourself, where do you think swine flu originated from? Well, the swine flu did in fact originate from the United States. Were we blaming all Americans for the swine flu? For some reason, I don't recall that ever happening. Because for some strange reason, that just never happens to a predominantly white nation. I wonder why that is. White Americans didn't have to walk down the street and hear swine flu screamed in their faces. Why? Why is that? Tell me what is the reason for that? Please explain that to me. Ever since COVID, Asians have not just been mistreated in the United States, but Asians have been prejudged and been racially discriminated in many parts all over the world, including my home country here in Ireland. There is a lot of racism towards the Asian community, and it is disgusting, let me tell you. So, not so long ago, on March 16th of this year, 8 people in Atlanta, Georgia were murdered. And I'm choosing not to say the name of the murderer because I'm not going to glorify him in any way whatsoever. I refuse to. In any case, 8 people were murdered in Atlanta, Georgia, and most of whom were Asian women. These murders took place in 2 spas in Atlanta, Georgia. The killer claims they have not been racially motivated and was actually due to him battling his sex addiction. No, sorry, I don't buy that. Not for a second do I buy that excuse. Trevor of The Daily Show said it best. The Atlanta shooter blamed a specific race of people for his problems and then murdered them because of it. If that's not racism, then the word has no meaning. That's exactly my thoughts on this issue too. Trevor's thoughts on this issue are very much worth a watch and a listen to, so I'll link his video down below and feel free to check that out. I fully recommend it. When the killer's brother was asked for a comment, he stated that he was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. How does that even make any sense? He intentionally went to those locations. He chose to go there. He chose to go to those spas. He chose to commit murder. What is this? Being sympathetic towards a murderer? Really? And it's also being sympathetic towards an abuser. Don't do that. Yes, I get it. Mental health is so important. It is such an important issue, and we should take it so very seriously. But we should not be using mental health as an excuse to justify racism, as an excuse to justify murder, especially on a marginalized group. It is not a justification to be racist, to be misogynistic, or whatever other brand of bigotry or toxicity you choose to unleash. By all means, seek help, but don't use your mental health status as an excuse to justify disgusting behavior. You don't get a free pass, so you really need to stop expecting one, because when you do crap like this, you should have to pay the same consequences as any other person. We need to stop the hate. It doesn't matter if you're Asian, if you're white, if you're black or Hispanic or any other community of humanity. We need to stand united. So please stop the hate and honor your fellow human beings. I fully endorse anyone to look towards the philosophy of humanism. Listen and learn about what the great philosophers of the past had to say about treating others with dignity and respect and reverence. In the words of Francis Wright, equality is the soul of liberty. There is, in fact, no liberty without it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Freedom, peace, and love, because humanity needs it.